Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. I am filming a plant update today. I was going to split it into a couple of days and not talk so much at once, but I'm feeling like I want to go ahead and get it filmed today. So I'm going to walk around my collection and kind of share what's been going on. I do have some changes I'm making actually to my Anthurium area over here. You may see there's some cabinets behind me. I'll share more about my vision and what I want to do with this space, and I may make just a dedicated video around that for those that are interested in that. But for the most part, everything else is pretty much the same. I made some changes I downsized some plants in the bedroom area, and my quarantine bins over here are really full, so eventually I got to get all these plants put into their spots. I have my dedicated Hoya area, and then obviously the plant room and the shop room. I think since I have a lot of plants, I may not touch on every single plant when I go around because I feel like this video would be very long if I did that. And I don't know if I want to talk for that long today, but I'll go around and kind of give you an overview, like I said, of the spaces and talk about some of the plants. But if there's plants that I don't touch on or show that much today, maybe like in a future video plant update, I can talk more about certain plants. But I think for today, just because I'm getting back in the swing of things and back into filming, I'll just kind of walk around and kind of share how the collection is doing today. So yeah, I hope that sounds good, and I'm excited to fill you in on how the collection is doing. So let's go ahead and make our way to my plant room, and we'll get started in there first. This is how we look from the outside. I have this netting up on this door and the door behind me. I love the netting. I got it initially when I had released ladybugs, and then I just left the netting up, and then it gave me more peace of mind that these rooms are somewhat protected, because I'm kind of paranoid about things like that, so I love having the netting. But yeah, I have a lot of my big plants in here, and I shared an update in this room, I think it was a couple months ago, when I had freshly painted in here and gave you an overview of the space. So I will say, like, things are pretty much the same. I did move some plants around, but I didn't really do too much additional stuff. This is where like my alocasia and monstera and begonia and philodendron and stuff live. The two Mills bow cabinets in front are the newest cabinets when I set the room up and everything. And then I had moved like the shelf over here, and then I have the Mills bow in here, the one that I've had for a while, and then I have like my little begonia area over there, and this huge monstera that I'm trying to hold off on chopping for a little bit longer yet. It's leaning, do you see it? It's like leaning up to the light. I love my plant room so much more now. I can't really describe the feeling in here, but I love caring for all the plants in here. A lot of the plants in here are in semi-hydro, so it does make watering a lot easier. I was actually watering in here, was it the other day? I think it was 2 days ago, and I just love it. I remember when I used to come in here when I had all those moss poles, and I just dreaded watering in here because it took forever. And yeah, now that my plant room is like more me and more of the plants that I love growing, it just feels better in here, and I love coming in here and actually watering and caring for the plants. But yeah, this room is definitely going to turn into an alocasia room probably in the future, because I've gotten a lot of new alocasia that are in quarantine, and I love growing alocasia. It's just one of my favorite plant genuses now. And yeah, I'm sure this space will look a lot different in time as I'm continually like rearranging and moving plants around. I'm sure a lot of you want an update on how Monstera Devil is doing, so why don't we start over here? I have an air stone in here, and that's what that noise is if you hear it. I would say this air stone isn't the best quality. Usually where this valve is, it comes disconnected a lot. Usually every day or every other day, I will peek in here and it's disconnected and I have to reconnect it. I think it was only like $13 or something. It's pretty cheap, but it's very loud. That's why I have it resting on a towel, because I had it on here and then it just like scratched this, and it's just so loud. Since it vibrates a lot, it's definitely loud. So this has helped make it more quiet. It's funny, it comes disconnected a lot, but when I actually want to disconnect it, it won't disconnect. It's so loud. Let me unplug this because this is going to drive me bonkers. But look at all those roots. It's rooting so well. She looks about the same. I will make a follow-up video on her and him and get him potted up because I'm moving to semi-hydro. You know, the last video I made, it was continuing to rot, and I did have more of rotting issues. We've taken a bit to get to this point, but the airstone definitely helped. It definitely made rooting very quick, I feel like, but it's exciting. Look at all those roots. I'm excited to get this plant finally growing. I do have a pretty significant root system, but I may leave it a little bit longer. I actually have a fungicide treatment that I have yet to do, but I'm going to because I'm worried that because the airstone is going 24/7 and it's getting that oxygenation, that when I actually go to pot it up, I'm worried that if there is some low-level pathogen still present, that it will take over. So I am going to do that treatment. I've just been hesitant because we are getting a lot of new roots. But my plan is to go ahead and do that treatment, let it root a little bit longer, make sure that there is nothing present, and then we'll get it potted up. But I'm happy that, obviously, I'm very excited that it's rooting and doing better. Definitely setback growth for me, obviously, like trying to produce a whole new root system. But I have white healthy roots. I cannot complain about that. Obviously, it was a very expensive plant purchase, and when it rotted, it just, my heart sunk. Because it's a plant that I really wanted and wanted to grow, but I'm very excited to have a healthy root system now, and hopefully it continues to be uphill from here. I'll leave that airstone off a bit while we're talking so it's not like in my face. But yeah, good news on Monstera Devil, and I'll make a dedicated video to that here soon. I have my beautiful pink poly. When I showed this alocasia last, I mentioned that I tried pollinating it with Micholitziana behind me. I used pollen for Micholitziana. I do have one more inflow that came out. So this is the one that was pollinated, that I tried pollinating. I don't know if it was successful yet. And then I have another inflow that shot out after that. It's still holding on. I did this on 6/3, so I would say it's been about 3 weeks or so since I did that. This plant is very root bound and thirsty. I've been adding water in here like twice a week. She's a very big alocasia. I would love to repot her, but I'm not messing with her until I know for sure if that pollination was successful. But I'm excited to see if it did take. That would be very exciting to see what happens with that. You guys know I did my Nobilis. Well, it self-pollinated, and I do have I had 7 berries. I do have footage of that. I kind of paused on it for a bit because nothing was really happening, and then I don't want to share too much on those because I am making a separate video on that, but I initially had 7 berries, but some of them didn't do so well, but I'll kind of fill you in on all that. And the only other plant that's really up here on the side is my Adansonii. It's actually at the very top of the cocoa core pole. So I don't know what my plan is with this plant, honestly, because I don't want to have to keep extending it. It's actually kind of supported by the curtain over here now. I will have to make a decision on what I want to do here soon. I might just take a top cut and like re-root it and plant it again, but that was the issue that I was having with a lot of these climbing philodendron and stuff, that I didn't want to have to keep chopping and replanting, chopping, replanting. I love climbing plants, but when they climb very quickly and grow very fast, I just don't want to keep chopping them. And so I'm like, do I just make it a trailing plant now? Because I don't know if I necessarily want to keep it climbing. I don't know, I'm torn on what to do. The leaves have gotten pretty big again, like up top. Obviously she's not as huge as she once was, but I love this plant. I'm always going to have it in my collection. I just don't know how to grow it or which way to grow it. And then over here, I have a Monstera albo top cutting that has been rooting forever. Look at all these roots, that's insane. I've never used an air stone before. Normally when I root Monstera, I just pluck them in water and they get so root bound. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get this plant out of here. It's gonna be tough. Like, look at all those roots. I've just delayed potting that up. I need to do it soon. She's actually gonna push a new leaf very soon. But it's like a huge top cutting. It's different genetics than the big Monstera albo behind me. But yeah, I need to get that potted up at some point. And then Bulbasaur is doing well. I'm actually gonna make a separate video on this guy very soon too, because it's almost been, I think the update is next week or the week after. It's very soon. I have a new leaf coming in, but I'll share more of an update for that video, but Bulbasaur is doing well. And then I have one of my big Amazonicas, pink Amazonicas here at the window. It's like, what was that? Was that one of the cats? I want to show you this new leaf because this new leaf is not variegated. It has like 2 specks, but it's huge. Look at this new leaf. Like, it's insane. I can't even describe how big this leaf is. Like, that's crazy. It has like a couple specks of pink. That was a leaf before, which I thought was pretty big. But look at this huge alocasia. It's crazy. And it's actually getting ready to push another new leaf. This plant is very happy. Like right there, do you see? It's getting ready to push a new one. My camera's not focusing today. That's going to be an issue. Right there. And I love like the stems on this alocasia. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous plant. I love this thing so much. And then the other second one is back there. It definitely likes the spot at the window for sure. And I love that neon green veining on the back side of the leaf. That is so incredibly pretty. I have my pings here. I have 2 pings that are huge. I don't know what happened to them or why they decided to grow big. They're just not sun stressing. This window doesn't really get a ton of sun during the summer months because the sun sits, obviously doesn't sit as low over winter. So it's more ambient light coming in than like direct sun. But the pings are doing well. And then I have a Drosera right there that is coming out of dormancy. I feel like that goes dormant often. The cabinet to the right is going to be my cabinet where I have all of my new alocasia. I'm going to move them all in here. I just want to keep them in quarantine a little bit longer and then I will transition them. The top shelf has some plants I potted up, some rehabs. I have a tray of Anthurium seedlings down there that I'm going to be moving soon. And then this setup here is actually new. I was trying the puddle method with alocasia corms. I've been very curious about how I would like that and how they would do, and I don't like it. I just like growing in stratum and perlite. So what I'll probably do is, I have so many of these corm risers that I bought in these little containers. What I'm probably going to do is just give them away as freebies with purchases. But I have a couple corms like sitting on that in some water. And I did these 3 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, because I repotted some alocasia and I took corms. I took half the corms and put them in this setup, and the other half of the corms I put in my normal stratum and perlite. And half of the corms that I did in stratum and perlite are already sprouting, whereas these are stalled, they're stagnant, they're not growing. And I'm finding mold on a lot of them too. Like this one here, the corm has mold growing. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with this method. I just don't know. I just don't like it. I thought it would be like nice if I did because I wouldn't have to go through so much stratum and perlite all the time. But I've grown out over 1,000 corms at this point with all the corms that I grow out, that they sprout better for me on a heating mat in stratum and perlite. They sprout so much quicker than this. So I don't like I don't like this method. So I'm going to get rid of this whole setup. Like I said, I will move these over to stratum and perlite at some point here. And yeah, I'll just let go of the acrylics and risers that are in here. I'll just include them as freebies. What else is in here? I have my, this is my alocasia berry project, so I'll save that for that video. These are the tissue cultures that I had gotten. I shared this in a video too. I had a Anthurium and lemon pom-pom. I was late to getting these potted up, so I just did that not too long ago. The banana, the pink banana didn't make it, and the alocasia didn't make it. So yeah, these will take a little bit to start growing. The Anthuriums I have in here, I have a rehab King of Spades. This one is different than the King of Spades I have out there. I think I've rotted this one like 3 times now. So I'm like rehabbing it in moss, and it's definitely growing back. I have this tray of seedlings. Some of these were the seedlings I purchased from Cartel. The red spider, and then I have a, what was the other one? Basilisk and something. And the red spider kept shooting off so many offshoots. It was crazy. It just, I ended up getting like, I don't know how many plants, like 6 plants of that one or something. I also have some new hybrid seedlings in here that I had purchased a while ago that are growing. But yeah, I have so many red spiders here in front now. Like this whole half is red spider. And then the basilisk is this curly one here. And then I have some other hybrids that I was growing out. But yeah, I have them under high humidity right now while they're establishing. And then what I'm going to do is move these to the Anthurium shelf and Anthurium cabinets over there when I get that set up here. But I'm only going to keep like a select couple, and then I'll eventually get rid of the ones that I don't want. But I just kind of put them in here for now because I didn't have any room in the shop room, so they're just hanging out in here. But the red spider is interesting. It's not really growing that well, and it's weird that it keeps producing like all these little offshoots. I don't know what the heck is going on with that. But I imported this Anthurium last January, like a year and a half ago now, which is crazy. So it's just taking forever to grow. But yeah, I just kind of have them in this setup. I also have a jungle mint, a couple nodes in here. This was the very bottom of the plant. I do have some growth. It's just, it's taking forever. I have some like nodes that are activating from these wet sticks. And then I planted 2 of the cuttings up into semi-hydro, back into semi-hydro again. All the other jungle mint, I potted up the other day. A lot of them are starting to sprout, but I don't remember when I chopped jungle mint. I feel like it's been a couple months very easily, but compared to all the other monsteras I've propagated, jungle mint has been very slow. For example, like I've propagated so many monstera alba cuttings at this point, and most of them are pretty quick at activating growth. Some of them are slower, but the jungle mint, most of the cuttings are on the slower side. They're taking a really long time to re-sprout. So I don't know if that's a thing with jungle mint being slower with propagating, but they're definitely taking a while. I put one of my Fridex, I had replanted it. I took it out of the bigger pot and then put it in one of the perfect size lechuza planters, and I have it with my perlite mix pond, which I like a lot better. So hopefully it's happier that I changed the setup. And then I have a couple more alocasia just in here for now. I have a dragon scale variegated. I have 2 of these. One is in pot and one is in soil. I was like experimenting. And then I have the tissue culture Watsoniana that's reverting. I had upsized this one as well because it was drying out too quickly. It's still a pretty alocasia. I still like it. I did get a new one that hopefully will maintain pink expression, but we'll see. I don't have high hopes for that one. I feel like I got another dud. But yeah, this will get rearranged here soon once I move all the new alocasia in here. I'm excited to share all the new ones with you. I got a handful of corms that need to sprout. And then I have some like pups and some that are growing a little bit more now. I actually potted some up recently into a semi-hydro, but I am excited to share all the new ones. And then you guys have seen this cabinet recently. I have a lot of begonia in here. I have some alocasia. I have a random pink micans that is going full albo. I have my oxalis in here, my philodendron Milano orange. This is probably the most alocasia I'm obsessed with. I think I mentioned that. This was a new genetics that I bought. The newest leaf isn't as variegated, but she's getting ready to push a new one. Again, it's growing so fast. She's already starting to corm. So many healthy roots. Like, this plant is so happy. I don't know if I should tell you guys this. I actually bought another corm of one that was labeled true. They had it listed as true purple albo regal shields and a picture of their mother plant, which was gorgeous. And they were listing some corms, so I bought one, and it was a chunky corm, you guys, and it's already like rooting. I'll show you. It's in the Millsbo cabinet. I have some corms in there, but I don't know why I got it because I have this one, but I guess I wanted another one with like really good genetics. I don't know. It's my favorite, one of my favorite alocasias, and this one's doing so well. I'm so excited. It's going to get big. It's going to get very big here soon. I'm going to have to move it out of here soonish. I might put it up at the window for the time being, like up here. She's so pretty. I love her. I'm so excited for this one. I did the orange Milano with you guys recently. I'll give you an update on this one. I put this one on the plant that I decided to bring back a moss pole for. In that video, I think this was the newest leaf that it had spit out when I put it on here. And then it spit out two more since then. The variegation is still burning in. It spit out this one. I don't know why my camera doesn't want to focus. There, it spit out this one, and then this is the newest one, which is a little bit bigger. I figured the first one after putting it on a pole would be a bit smaller. But the variegation is so pretty. The pink, I mentioned the pink on this one, how it burns in. This is like true to color. It is so beautiful. Probably one of my favorite plants right now as well. I just love that color. This one is holding on. I haven't had to water this at all. It's staying more moist in the cabinet because this is like around 70% humidity. So I don't have to water this as often. I mostly just mist. I'm actually low. I need to refill this. I usually have like a little mister that I will just like, when I'm in here watering, like quickly mist the moss so that it stays moist. But I have noticed the newest growth is kind of coming off a little bit, so I'll have to kind of get that anchored back on there. I do have some roots in here now forming. And the roots in here are growing very slowly because it's such a big pot. That's why I didn't want to overwhelm this plant and water the base, but it's doing very well. It's climbing, it's growing. I'm excited for this plant. It's so pretty. So one of my favorites right now for sure. It's so weird having a pole, but I only have one now, so it's fine. Like it's not drying out like crazy, like I said, so I can manage it, but it's weird having a pole again. That's for sure. Beautiful variegated oxalis. I had imported this one. Look at all the pretty blooms. I wasn't sure it was going to make it, you know, because it only had one little rhizome thing that survived. And look at it now. It's like a beautiful big plant. I have the regular oxalis on the patio, but this one is the variegated. It's spitting a lot of all pink leaves, but it's so pretty. It loves the cabinet in here. So pretty. Yeah, all the begonias are doing well. Oh, my begonia lemoon is flowering. Flowering. This thing is growing like a weed. I did ask if any of you grew yours in ambient, and you said yes. So I definitely want to move this, I think, to the begonia shelf. But it has blooms up here. They're really pretty. I don't know if that's focusing. Probably not. I don't know why that doesn't want to focus. I had taken some pictures with my camera, and I think I messed the settings up. There, I don't know if it's focusing. But yeah, she's getting big, and I had chopped her to propagate as well. Very fast grower. I ended up putting my Longaloba purple in. I took it out of pon and put it into stratum and perlite. The new leaf is pushing now. The roots weren't doing that well, so I'm gonna leave it in stratum and perlite for a bit and let it get big, and then I may transition it over to pon with more airflow. It's definitely growing in a ton more roots. It likes stratum and perlite. So this is like my third or fourth time trying to grow this one. So we'll see. It's doing better though. Pink micans that I bought is coming in all pink. This cutting here, like that, and it's like going full pink. So I actually bought like a new one. It's in quarantine. It actually can come out of quarantine. I have a couple different versions that I got. I'll hang on to this one because I have one strand that is like all green coming in and one that's like all pink. So I still like this one obviously, but I have one that is is better at variegation. So I'll show you that one when we get to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it besides the begonias in here. I almost killed this plant here. It got very crispy on me. I accidentally underwatered it one time. This one does not like to dry out. I haven't tried propping it yet. It's lost a lot of the pink color. It was very pink at one point. I made it very angry. I had upsized it to help it from drying out so quickly, but I was sad I almost lost it. So that is pretty much everyone in here besides the other begonias, but all of them are doing fine. I had like chopped those and stuff with you guys recently. And yeah, this whole side of the room looks the exact same. I'm going to wait until my Monstera propagations are a lot less before I chop this big elbow tree, but it will be done at some point. Hopefully by the end of summer, I'm going to chop it all the way back. I think my Monstera Thai might actually go in this corner. I do want to chop the mint noid as well. It's so pretty though, like look how beautiful. This is the newest one here. It's like full mint. Very beautiful, but it's kind of like off the cocoa core pole down there. And I may just restart it as like a top cutting. Sometimes I feel like I let my Monsteras get too big and I need to chop them before that, before they take over the space. I have a gigas back there in the corner, right next to the shelf as well. And then I ended up moving my variegated silver sword down here. This was a wet stick restart. I'll probably let it grow some more and then do what I always do, chop it back. I make propagations, but not for a bit. I'm not propagating anytime soon. I'm trying to hold off until that room is just overflowing. But I love silver sword. I feel like this plant is so underrated. Let me see if I can move to some better light. There we go. Do you see that silver color? I love this plant so much. I feel like it's such an easygoing philodendron. I have it in semi-hydro. I have a little stake in there just for support. I did move it so the newest leaf is a bit smaller, but so pretty. Look at that half moon. I think the silver, it's the silver color that does it for me. I just love that metallic blue color. It's like Heterophylla and Cebu blue. It's like that same tone in a way. Very beautiful philodendron. It's really easy to prop for me as well. I feel like the variegation takes a while to burn in. It kind of burns into like this creamy color here. I feel like this one is still burning in and this half moon is still burning in. That leaf is very pretty. But yeah, I love this philodendron. All the begonias are doing great. I ended up chopping back the other pink maculata and replaced it with the more variegated cuttings that I took. I have the bigger pink one up here, which is starting to grow. I had upsized it. It was drying out way too quickly, so that's definitely helping. I feel like this begonia does not like to dry out. And the size of this leaf, like look how big that leaf is. That's crazy. It's like the size of my forearm. So I have some new growth coming in here. A lot of my begonias like to trail out instead of up because of the grow lights that are in front of them. And then I saved these two here because these ones were more variegated. So this one I think is my favorite right now because she's so pink and pretty. I have a new leaf coming in there that looks to be pretty pink. And then this one here, I decided I may not keep this one. I may end up letting this one go. It's still like very pink. It has very pink leaves, but it's not as pink as this one. So this might be my second plant, and then I may end up letting this one go, but we'll see. She's very pretty. It's getting too hot to ship begonia, I feel like. I do have a lot of maculata cuttings right now that are growing. A lot of them have reverted, so I'm like chopping them back to hopefully promote more pink before I list them. I want to chop my snow-capped here too because she is getting very big. I have 2 plants, but I may not prop begonia for a little bit yet. We'll see, because yeah, shipping plants when it's hot, especially begonia, they're so sensitive. I'm worried that they're going to melt. So I may just let them grow for the time being, but we'll see. I may just do a few propagations here and there and see how they do, but I feel like this weather is definitely risky. And then I have the Soli Matata there, and then I have my Marble Queen still. It's kind of growing off the pole now. You can see that top leaf is growing up. It's like curved around the pole to the grow light, which is fine. Like, I may just end up letting that one trail off the pole because I don't want to keep chopping these climbing plants. That's the thing. I would rather just keep them as a plant and let them grow than continually have to chop and like restart them. I don't want to keep doing that. I have some pretty big leaves on her, which I love. I don't need to let her keep climbing. I may just, like I said, let her trail off and she'll be like climbing and trailing all in one over there. And then I have the Jungle Mint cuttings that I restarted down there. The base of the plant that I showed you down there, those nodes, I had originally put it and like potted it up into a chunky pond, and the 2 leaves that were on that were connected to that base rotted and the root system was rotting. I just can't propagate in pond for some reason. So these are the 2 cuttings that I kept, a half moon leaf, and this was one of the leaves towards the bottom of the plant that I really loved. One of them is starting to sprout. Finally, it's taken a while. The other one is sprouting too. It's just very small. Like I said, Jungle Mint, I feel like it's taking forever to grow because I cut her so long ago. So hopefully these two cuttings have good color. I'm worried that they won't, but it was towards the bottom of the plant, and I feel like the node still had some good variegation. And then I'm going to keep the bottom chunks and see what comes out of there. And then I'll show you all the other cuttings in the shop room because a lot of them are starting to sprout. So once they actually grow a little bit, I'll start listing them. But because it's taking them a while to sprout and grow, I want to hold off for the time being. I want to make sure they're actually growing and stuff first. So yeah, hopefully I get some good color to come in. This is very rooted, these 2 cuttings. I had potted them back into the chunky pond. I will say with the chunky pond, I don't love it as much. I feel like it's a little too chunky. So what I might do is just mix some chunky with the finer pond that I have with some perlite and just make some that's coarse, but not as coarse as the fine. Or I'll make some coarse, but not too coarse, if that makes sense. I feel like I do like the chunky pond, but it does dry, like it gets pretty dry on top. And I feel like it's a little too ventilated, a little too much airflow. So I'll probably, like I said, I probably won't use this coarse pond anymore. I'll mix it with a little bit of fine and create like a nice mixture. And then for certain alocasia, I'll continue using the fine pond, but just with added perlite. I'll go ahead and show you this cabinet, the Mills bow, before we move over to the other half of the room. Ignore the cords and stuff on that table. That has to go back in the closet there. I broke that stuff out because of the new cabinets for the Anthurium that I'm going to do. I'm going to need some supplies, so I just have those right there for now. The cabinet pretty much looks the same. This is all alocasia now. And I made the bottom half of the cabinet. You can see I have a heating pad there and more corms because I'm out of corm space in the other shop room. And I have several new corms that I have for my personal collection. And then I'm just some random corms that I pluck off while watering that I find I'll just like plant in there, and then, you know, I'll grow them out, of course. But yeah, I needed more corm space, so that is all corms on the bottom. And on top of the cabinet, I have my regular Cupria still, my pink Bambino, and then my, I have two pseudo Sanderianas. The one up top is more peachy, and then I have one that is maintaining pink expression in the cabinet. The Cupria is starting to get bigger again. I have that's like a newest leaf here, and it's getting pretty big because I had restarted that one. And then the Bambinos, I had two, but I ended up keeping just one. I had downsized the other one because I feel like I didn't need two pink Bambinos, so I just kept that one. I decided to upsize this one. I wasn't going to keep this pseudo Sanderiana because I have the pink one now. I may end up letting this one grow outside, but this one does it's more of like a peachy tone, peachy aria tone. Look how pretty that leaf is though. So pretty. But I had upsized her because she was getting huge. She has another new leaf coming out. And then I found like 10 corms. So half the corms I did the puddle method for, and then the other half the corms are in here that are getting ready to sprout. But yeah, this one is huge. This one's on top of the cabinet. So that's the variegation on that one. And then the one that is maintaining pink is this one here. Look how pink and pretty she is. I love this alocasia. It's such a fast grower, so easy. It's getting big already. I had just like repotted these into here. I'm gonna have to upsize them again soon because they're drying out. I have to add water to these little cups twice a week, which is a lot, but again, it is in this warm plant room and stuff, so things just dry very quickly in here, especially under the cabinet lights. It's very warm in the cabinet. So a pseudo Sanderiana pink. She has really good genetics. Very happy with this one. And I don't know if she's corming yet. I usually don't check for corms until they grow and get bigger because I let them establish for a while. Because sometimes like you go digging around in here too early, it kind of sets them back. It makes them a bit angry. Oh, I don't know if I talked about this guy on here. So this is one of my corms. I think it's from my pink poly, but it's what's the word? It's a weird guy. He kind of came in, the corm I believe was small and it wasn't labeled, and I wasn't sure what this alocasia was. I thought it was like some kind of weird mutation that happened because the leaves were very strange. They have like a little fork at the tail of the leaf. Like this one looked very weird with a tail. At first I thought like, is this a venom? But I'm like, no, I don't have a pink venom. I'm like, it has to be a poly, but the leaf didn't look like a poly. And then it spit this leaf out, and I'm like, yeah, it's a poly. It looks like a poly now. And that leaf there. And then the newest one is here. It's just growing very slow. That was the first leaf. You see how weird it was? And I didn't understand like the forking that it was doing. It's growing very, I mean, it is growing fast, but it's very tiny. It's like a smaller mutated form of my poly. It's just a weird guy, and so I'm keeping him because I don't know what he is and what he's doing. It's very interesting. So yeah, sometimes that's why I love growing all my corms, like my variegated corms, because you just don't know what kind of corm you're going to get. I like seeing the genetics that comes in because if there's one that is really, really variegated, I want to hold it back and keep it. And sometimes you get some weird mutations that happen. And then obviously like I get corms that either go a full albo or revert, and yeah, I just would rather grow them out. I may sell corms that are non-variegated. I may start doing that if like for inexpensive, but for variegated corms, I feel like I want to keep growing them out. I have Maharani and Mellow Albo in here as well. I love both of these. Let me bring you actually in here so I don't have to take all these guys out. I have a tissue culture here that I'm growing. I have some new alocasia here. Well, this is my Azalani that was struggling. I have a black velvet gold that's kind of struggling. And then this one here, which is growing back. This is my tissue culture pink capria that went full elbow. I was going to throw it away, but then I thought about the $750 that I spent on this from Rare Plant Fairy. It's just a nub. I don't know if it's going to do anything. I mentioned that I was going to chop it. It's just a wasted wasted money on that. I regret that purchase so much. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just hanging on to it because I paid so much for it. These guys are growing. I'm going to have to move some of these out soon. That was the pink pseudo that I showed you. I have this pink plumbe, which is new. It's kind of like a weird mutated guy. It's very pink, but it's growing very strangely. It's very weird. It's kind of an interesting fellow. I have the Simpo Albo, which is very beautiful. I love this alocasia. This is a newer one that I got at the same time as the pink pseudo and new regal shields. It is getting bigger. I'm gonna have to move these guys soon because they're getting close to this light. And then I have my variegated cuprias. The pink one is trying to die again. It looks like it's getting ready to push a new leaf, but it's down to one leaf. It yellowed off two of them. The latte version is doing much better. The latte, that's a half moon. It's very pretty. This one's growing better than this one. I got these from the same seller, but the pink one is struggling. I just want a really beautiful pink cupria that's not going to die on me. And these are both from Corm. I don't know why this one's struggling so much. I paid so much money for this freaking guy. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just not a happy plant or if I just got one that is struggling a bit more than others. I'm not sure. Like, I got this one after this one, and this one's like a lot bigger already. Like, it's much happier. I don't know why the pink one is struggling so much. I'm kind of sad about it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And this one here was a pink mint cupria. This one was a corm from a TC mother. And I had pulled this one off my site because I was going to sell it and then it spit this leaf out. And I'm like, no, I can see the variegation. I kind of want to keep it. But again, I'm kind of glad I didn't sell it because I just, even though it's a corm, the TC mother, I don't know if, again, this was one that I got from Rare Plant Fairy as well. I spent like $500 on this plant. The mother plant reverted. And, so I was able to get some corms, and all the corms, I have a few more of the corms. I had like 4, and they're just very slow. They're not growing that well at all. Yeah, it's just kind of like a dud. So I don't know. Yeah, the variegated ones are struggling a little bit. And then I have my pink shan, my shan aria, my heterophylla, metallic blue, and then I have another dragon scale and pink black velvet. The pink shan is here. She put out a new leaf. It is smaller. She needs to be repotted. I need to upsize her probably soon. I feel like she needs an upsize. This pink leaf is holding on. It's been holding on for a while, which is kind of cool. Very pretty. I love, this is one of my favorite pink plants. The Aria Shan is doing better. It was browning a lot, but it seems to have stopped that. It's holding on to 2 leaves and then it's pushing another one. The metallic blue, I had a bit of a setback with it. It rotted its roots for some reason, and then I rerooted it and then it started blooming. I think it just got stressed. And now it's pushing new growth again, finally, so it's happier again. The variegation hasn't burned in on it, but it's like the yellow variegation. So yeah, this one has bounced back. And this is the dragon scale, the second one. The other one was over there. This one's more variegated. And this is why I love variegated alocasia, because each new leaf is so different. Like, I have a leaf like this. Look how white and beautiful it is, right? And then the newest leaf is this. It's so different. Like, how is this the same plant? That is crazy to me, that leaves can be so unique and different from each other. This one I'm growing back in soil because I tend to struggle sometimes with jewel alocasia, and so I was like trying one corm back in pond and one in cocoa cord tree fern perlite mix and seeing how they do. So far they both seem okay. They seem happy. So I'll have to see how this one does like long term. And then I have pink black velvet restart. This is the third restart. My mother plant went full elbow. My second mother plant ended up going full elbow, and this is the third plant. So it has really good genetics, really good variegation, but I'm worried. I don't know if there's just something in the line with this particular specimen I have that it's carrying over the elbow traits. And that's why I want to like play around with different genetics. I actually got a couple new corms of pink black velvet just to get different genetics to see how they grow out long term, because my tooth is starting to hurt. I've been talking a lot. And that's the thing, like I love selling plants and stuff, but I want to sell plants that are going to do well for somebody. I know what it's like spending money on plants and being disappointed and everything. That's why I want to grow, like, obviously variegation, you can't predict what's going to happen with variegated plants, but if I can grow mother plants that have good genes and good expression, then hopefully that will carry over to the offspring, if that makes sense. Like Regal Shields Albo, I don't want to grow Regal Shields Albo if the offspring are going to just revert. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I want healthy mothers that are going to produce good offspring. So that's kind of what my goal is with alocasia. I want like happy mother plants that will continue to give me happy offspring. So if I have a plant that's not behaving the way that I want it to, I may eventually downsize that one and replace it with one with stronger genetics, stronger, a more vigorous grower, stuff like that, that I'm looking for certain traits and certain characteristics that are going to do better for me long term, if that makes sense. And yeah, I have all kinds of corms. So these were the pink pseudo. Look how much they're sprouting already. This was pink pseudo, and the other corms that I did the puddle method on, those corms aren't doing anything, whereas the corms that I set up on a heat mat and stratum and perlite are already sprouting. So I 100% will go back to using this. I will not do the puddle method. Those that have success with the puddle method, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but this is my tried and true. This has always worked for me and the quickest, and I will continue to do this. That's gonna be a big leaf, look at that. That was a big corm. I think one of these, yeah, that was a huge corm. That's gonna be a huge first new leaf. These are some new corms that I bought for me. I wanted to show you. I got some good ones in here. This one here on the end though, this was the Regal Shields True Albo Purple that I bought, but look at all those fuzzy roots that are growing in. Do you see right there? That's going to be, it's already starting to sprout a little bit. And I've only had this corm for like 2 weeks, if that. I love all the fuzzy root hairs. It's like climbing into the other corms. Yeah, I have the pink black velvet in here and a couple others that I'm really excited for. This one here is starting to sprout, which I'm excited for. I took a chance on a couple variegated corms, but I understand the risk in that, and I knew that, and I've been disappointed before. But sometimes when you buy, the thing is too, it's like sometimes when you buy a plant that is showing variegation that you want, it may not be like a healthy plant. Sometimes I've been disappointed with buying some of these alocasia. Some of them are like just not strong, healthy plants starting out, and at least from a corm, I feel like the chances of it growing to be a stronger plant sometimes is stronger, but you never know. It all depends on the mother plant, the genetic line. I just feel like some plants are just not strong plants, and it carries through in their offspring. So it really is dependent, and that's why I want healthy, strong mothers to produce healthy, strong offspring. I'll quickly run through this back wall and we'll move on. I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start in this corner. Well, Mandula is kind of squished back there, and then I added some philodendron that I was going to downsize and I decided to hang on to. Try and move this here for a second, out of the way. Tycon is taking over, you can't see anything. So yeah, Mandula back there. It's off the pole at the top. I may just let that one climb down and trail as well because I don't want to keep chopping. And then I have my philodendron Splendid and my Glorious back here. I have Splendid in front right here, and then Glorious here in the back. They're just on a stake. I have them in front of a little bit of extra light right there, but I'm gonna hang on to them. I'll probably let them climb in their spot here, and then, you know, I'll eventually propagate them if they get too big or I need to chop them back. I just couldn't officially downsize them out of my collection. I've had them for so long. So I have them there for now. And I also kept El Choco, which El Choco is like right down there. It's so little now. I kept one of my nodes that grew back. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll keep him at a more manageable size, and then eventually I may prop him, but I couldn't say goodbye to him officially. Tycon is absolutely huge. It's growing every which way. Yes, I have the petioles tied. I know that. It looked a lot better the other day, but now that it's growing every which way, it's kind of all over the place. I had initially tied it as to where like it was more compact like that, but it's not really doing that anymore. I need to anchor this one on to like, I like to tie the petioles to make them more compact like that, but this is the newest leaf and it's getting ready to push a new one soon, so I couldn't tie this one up to this one. But once this new leaf pushes out, I will tie this one to this one to make it more compact, I guess. But yeah, Tycon is huge. New leaf is coming. Actually, it's pushing out. You can see the leaf tip right here. So new leaf very soon. And yeah, the latest leaf is humongous. I feel like you can't see any of these plants back here. My venom is just huge. It's taking over. Huge, huge plant. It's crazy. It's crazy how big this one is. It's just nonstop growing. It's pushing another new leaf in the middle. Like I can't even get this in frame. It's so big. It's huge. I love this plant, this alocasia. It's doing, I can't believe I had this one squished in my cabinet at one point. But yeah, he's chilling up here with all these other big alocasia. I have my original nobilis here. It has 3 leaves currently. It constantly blooms. I have a new leaf coming in here. I did get a new nobilis that hopefully maintains pink expression. So we'll see how that one goes, because this one kind of burns into a more like minty color, and this is the one that had the berries. But yeah, she blooms constantly. I feel like she's growing more steadily now. I don't know if she's getting, she was at the window, but I don't know. I feel like she likes her spot up here better. I have my other Amazonica here. This one is more variegated than my other Amazonica at the window. It had this huge half moon, and then the newest leaf is actually a half moon. It is a freshly, look at that one. That one is so long and weird. A fresh new half moon leaf. Look at that. Beautiful. So this one is got 5 leaves currently on it. This one I feel like is doing okay in this spot. It really only has the grow light up above. The one at the window definitely likes being at the window. But I like both of them. I need to go corm digging on these guys, honestly. I need to repot a lot. Like my nobilis, I haven't been corm digging on this plant in so long. So I need to do that soon. And then the other big plant over here on top is my Monstera Flame. Let me put venom back down. You have some Monstera cuttings up here. I have 2 half moon Monstera albos that I was going to keep. They're just cuttings from one of my plants, because one of my albos was doing half moon genetics for a while and then it quit. So whichever one of these guys, if one of these continues half moon variegation, I'll keep it. And if not, then I'll downsize them. But I have 2 like mid cuttings that I'm waiting for growth to come in on. And then my Monstera Aria, I ended up chopping. I had this plant in like a soil mix for a while at the window. It grew pretty big, and then I propagated it. And then I wanted to grow it in semi-hydro like a lot of my other plants in here in Monsteras. And so I did a top cutting, you know, in semi-hydro, and it started growing, and I don't know if it was the combination of semi-hydro and away from the window. I feel like Monstera Aria must like a lot of light. Is that the issue? It just won't stop browning. I got way more browning in semi-hydro over here than I did at the window when it was in soil. So I'm going to reroot it. I took another top cutting, and I'm going to grow it back in soil. And then I think what I'm going to do is blast it with a lot more strong light. I feel like I never really gave this plant like intense light, and I feel like I'm going to have extra grow lights and stuff. So I may add one to this plant specifically, like really close to it, and hopefully that'll stop with the browning. But I got so much browning, you guys. It's because it's highly variegated. In pod, it was ridiculous. Like before, just as a new leaf unfurled, it would start browning. And it was not doing that in soil at the window. So I'm like, does it not like semi-hydro, or just does it need more light? So I'm gonna try more light and get back to you and report back and see how it does. I'll pot it into soil once I get like a decent little root system. I love Monstera Aria. I got this plant so long ago. It was like one of my first big expensive plant purchases during the pandemic, because obviously I love Monstera too. So I don't want to get rid of Monstera Aria. It's just the browning is definitely a lot. So I'm going to try more light and see how that does. Monstera Flame is huge, you guys. It put out a new leaf finally after it got chopped. It is over here. I'm gonna try and take it down. I'm having to add water in the reservoir twice a week, you guys. It is so, I think it's so root bound. I don't even know. You can't even see. I can't even show you this plant in frame because it's so big. Look at this thing. It's huge. This is the newest leaf, which is actually really big post chop. I was actually surprised by that, because let's see, it gave me this leaf here. It was like at the top of the coco coir pole, and it had one tiny secondary fenestration. I don't know if it's showing like right there where my thumb is. And then it spit this leaf out here. And then I had chopped it, and then I did like the big, the big top section. I rooted it and it's back in. Oh no, I air layered it. That's what I did. I air layered one of the aerial roots in a cup of water over here at the window. And then I planted it in pond. Look at these thick aerial roots. Like, look at this thing. Look how thick that is. Like, that's crazy. It's so rooted in here. It's incredibly rooted. So I'm going to upsize this one. But it's definitely growing slower in its new spot over here, because I had this guy at the window, but obviously his petioles are way too long that I just can't put it over at the window anymore. It's growing up too, because most of the grow lights now are up instead of forward. So what I might do is I'm going to have some extra standing grow lights. I'm going to add an extra standing grow light in front of the shelf over here, so that it has forward light and light up top, so that I can train these leaves to grow back forward again instead of up like that. But it's still growing. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that this new leaf is as big as it is. It's huge. But it's growing a bit slower than it was at the window. So I definitely feel like it wants more light for sure. But I love this plant, one of my favorite plants in my collection. You just can't see it because it's so freaking big. So yeah, I will upsize this guy at some point. You can kind of see him back there. It looks smaller on the shelf, but the plant is freaking huge. And then these two rows, I'll kind of briefly touch. Starting here to the left, I have my variegated Christmas cactus, and then I have my Micans Aria. I had restarted that back from cuttings and it's starting to trail. And then I have my variegated Thanksgiving cactus there in the middle. And then I have my philodendron patriciae next to that one, which is starting to finally size up for me. I really wanted that philodendron, so I'm really excited for that one this year. That leaf in the front there is one of the biggest leaves I've gotten so far, and it is pushing a new one. I had previously mentioned I thought about growing it on top of my cabinet, but I may just grow it somewhere else now. But I'm really excited for that philodendron. It is a beautiful philodendron. I love the look of the leaves. And then I have one of my heterophylla restarts there. I have another one in the other room. And then On the bottom, from right to left down there, I have a mixture pot of syngonium I decided to keep. I have my OG strawberry shake down there. I mentioned my El Choco. I have a Florida Ghost restart down there. And then I have variegated Gloriosum restart, and then Syngonium Chia Pence variegated on the bottom. I don't really have permanent homes for these plants yet. They're just kind of, it's just a spot for now that I pluck them in, because I do want to move some of these plants, I think, out. I had even thought about moving the variegated Thanksgiving and Christmas cactus to the bedroom, since I have that shelf there now, and maybe the Syngonium. So I might play around with some plants out of this plant room for the time being, because once all these new alocasia come in here, they are going to take over, take over this space. And then, yeah, this corner is still the same. Michelitziana got very angry at me. You can see she's got some browning, some burn marks. What happened was, I had mentioned she had spider mites, and then they weren't going away, and so I ended up doing 3 separate treatments of miticide on her, and they went away finally. And then I don't know if it stressed her or what, because I had taken her into the shower like a couple of times, and she just started dropping some leaves, and then she started blooming, blooming like crazy, like nonstop blooming. She does still have some blooms, I think, still hanging on. And that's when I took some pollen to pollinate the poly, or try to. And now she's starting to grow again at the top, like in the middle. She's starting to fill out a little bit more, but a lot of her older leaves got very angry. I know she'll get spider mites again. It's just the name of the game with this plant, and it's a variegated partner. Honestly, out of all my alocasias, this is the only one that I have to worry about with spider mites. Once they pop up, then I have to like really get on treating that plant, because if not, they can spread. I usually don't get spider mites on any other plant in here besides Syngonium. My Syngonium, because it's really thin and leafy like Michelitziana. They can transfer to some other alocasia, but not really as much as this guy. And then some of my philodendron will get spider mites if one of them already has it. But this plant is usually the culprit. So right now we're good, but I know it's going to happen. It usually happens every few months. They just come back. I don't know where they come from, but they just appear. I use predatories routinely, and then that was a stubborn, I feel like they didn't want to go away this time, because I had done like 3 different rounds of mites on this plant. So the miticide definitely knocked them out this time. I feel like they'll just show up. They just show up eventually, so I know it'll happen again. But she's doing better back there in the corner. I feel like she does need to be checked for corms again. It's been a while. I had restarted that plant once already, and like chopped the stumps and everything. So at some point I will tackle her. And then I have my philodendron Red Anderson that does a lot of half moons. And then I have my pink princess restart. I chopped those back and restarted those not too long ago. I have a lot of propagations of those going. And then I have my big philodendron caramel marble, which I absolutely love that plant. It's huge. It went through a bloom cycle recently. But it's done blooming. And yeah, I like this little corner down here. I love like these type of philodendron that are more of like self-heading. They climb, but they don't climb nearly as fast as some of the other climbing philodendron. I haven't chopped caramel marble once, and I've had this plant for a couple of years now, I think. And eventually I'll like chop it and restart it, but there's not really a need to, because it hasn't gotten super tall yet. And obviously like the pink princess and stuff, those guys grow a bit faster, but they're easy to restart for me. That was a lot of talking, and I have just done my plant room. I have all of my Anthurium and Hoyas and so many other plants. Oh my goodness. That was a lot. That was a lot of talking. I think I might take a little break and come back on in a little bit, and we'll get finished up here. But yeah, it's crazy how many plants are in here. I thought I had downsized some plants, but yeah, there's a lot of plants in here. I think I pretty much touched on everyone in here. I'm definitely going to be doing rearranging, and once I chop some of these big plants, I'll be able to restart them and get them back down to a normal size. I actually bought some new artwork that will be coming at some point. I felt like this wall needed a little something else. So I'm gonna hang some new artwork behind those plants because I have the artwork on this wall over here. I have like a couple artworks hanging up, but I have these three, which I like. This shop doesn't, I don't think this shop is open anymore, but I got those on Etsy from the UK. I love those prints. The Anthurium doesn't really fit in here because I don't have Anthurium in here. I thought about moving that to the Anthurium area, but then I would only have 2 of that size for in here, which I could hang in different areas. The new prints that I got are so pretty. It's from another shop in the UK. It kind of is a similar vibe to these ones, but I got some new prints that I thought about hanging 3 on this side over here just to add some more to the wall. I just felt like it was a little bit empty. It needed like something there. I have that pretty Monstera one over there too. That was on top of the cabinet. But once they get here, I'll show you because they're alocasia prints. So I feel like this will eventually be a lot of alocasia in here. I got like pink variegated alocasia prints. They're really pretty. So I'm excited to get those hung in here. It'll look good. Yeah, this is a very crammed room. I may continue to downsize some plants in here, but we'll see. I think moving some of these other common ones here out of this room will clear up some space. But yeah, man, that tie is going to be freaking massive. Just looking at that thing from over here. I'm ready to chop back this Monstera albo, though. It's definitely gotten tall. It's so root bound in that tiny thing of pond. I feel bad for it. It just needs a good restart. But I'm gonna restart this other albo over here, and then if one of these comes in as a half moon, I'll restart those. Yeah, a lot of plants in here. I love the space, and yeah, I'm excited to always like rearrange and move things around. So yeah, I'm gonna take a bit of a break and I'll meet you. We'll go to the Hoya and Quarantine area next, and then I'll show you the Anthuriums really quick and then a few other areas. But I'll be back in a second for you guys, but I am gonna take a little bit of a talkie break. Okay, back behind the table over here is what I call my quarantine area. I have a few different setups. There's actually some more on the other side of the taller bin. You can't really see from this angle. But this top one, front one here, is mostly alocasia. A lot of these can pretty much go where they need to go, like out of quarantine. I just checked on them all yesterday. I usually check on these a couple times a week. I don't see like any issues popping up on any of these. But yeah, I just like to keep them in quarantine for at least a month. 4 to 6 weeks is like a good time frame in case something pops up, you can deal with it. And I like making sure of that before putting them in with the rest of my collection, if that makes sense. So yeah, I have a lot of plants here. They're a little bit full. And then over there obviously is my Hoya area. I have, those are all Rudsta cabinets. I have the wide in the middle and then the 2 talls on the end. So all the Hoyas that I have are there. Well, actually I forgot the shop room. I'll show you that here after I do the Anthurium. I do have some Hoya and stuff in there too that aren't over here. But yeah, my Hoya are pretty full over here, and I have, I think probably like 10 in quarantine that I'll have to move over here as well. Yeah, I'll give you a little peek at some plants over here. Here's another view of the quarantine bin. I had potted the middle bin into pond not too long ago, some Anthurium. Those will go over to my Anthurium area. Those have been in quarantine for a while, so those are like good and ready. I think I showed most of these Hoya already with you, some newer Hoya. I have some in stratum that I need to pot up, and then some that I've already potted up that are working on growing. So I'll eventually get those put over, like I said, to my Hoya area over here. Ignore this big thing upon that I sanitized. I need to get that back into my plant room. The Hoyas for the most part are doing well. I'm not going to go into every single Hoya because, yeah, like I said, I feel like I did that with my plant room, and I already feel like this video is going to be so long. I would say the thing that I changed with my Hoya, I think I talked about that, is I changed the grow lights. The top ones, I added new lights, replaced the older ones, and the Hoyas definitely appreciate it. Like the Hoyas over there on top of that cabinet, I have so much new growth now that they're getting like a decent amount of light. And then I have my Jasminka over here, which I love this Hoya. It's probably one of my favorite Hoya right now. And then I also have the Linearis kind of off to the side over here on top. And then I'm also working on adding grow lights inside of the cabinets. I decided that a lot of the ones on the bottom weren't getting enough light. I haven't done the middle cabinet yet, but the Hoyas there on the bottom aren't really getting enough light. So I've been adding some more strip lights and then reworking the wiring. I did this cabinet on the left already. I added a third light up top and then one extra light to the top, under the top row there. So I have 2 more strip lights in there, and then I think the middle one, I'm gonna add the longer strip lights. I'm gonna add at least 2 more into that one, and then 2 more strip lights into the other cabinet. So that's still a work in progress. I wanted to take care of it all at once, but I decided to do only one cabinet because I had watering and stuff to do with all these 2. And it just took a while to kind of get them situated in there. So I'll get that done here soon. I thought I took a long enough talking 20-minute break, but I guess not. I'm already like, wow, I'm already talking so much. My mouth already feels so dry. Here's Jasminka. I love this Hoya. She's so pretty. I have a second one growing in the shop room. I love how the elbow leaves are staying on for such a long time. I have so many strands that have grown out to be like all white. This one, I have like one up here. And I have another one over here and another one over here that's growing all white. They hold for a very long time, which I'm kind of surprised. But Jasminka, I think, is my favorite Hoya. I saw that there is like a silver Jasminka, and I had thought about like, do I need a silver Jasminka? And then I'm like, there's that Jasminka King, you know, with the more of the Aria type variegation. And I'm like, you know what, Melissa, I gotta put the brakes on you. I have so many Polyneuria varieties that like I don't need to collect every single one, because it gets to a point where I feel like I just have to tell myself that no, I just can't keep collecting so many different varieties. Even though the silver is really pretty and so is the like Aria one, the Jasminka, I just don't need them all because one, I just don't have the space for them all, and I like her the most. So I don't think I'm going to bring any more into my collection. She was doing a ton of peduncles, but she's been blasting them. I think because she got underwatered. She's very root bound. I just watered her the other day. Oh, you can't even see. You see all those roots? She dries out very quickly as well because she's such a big plant, but I love her. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much good on Hoya, honestly. I've gotten some new ones like I shared with you. I think I've got 1 or 2 more since then. But yeah, I'm at a point now where I'm pretty content with my Hoya collection. Anthurium, I don't think I'll bring any more Anthurium into my collection. I'm pretty much good with philodendron. I really think the only plant genus I'm going to focus on is alocasia for the time being. I just really love growing alocasia the most. And yeah, I'm pretty content with my plant collection because I have a lot of plants, it's a lot to maintain and everything. I have downsized, which feels good, but I've also brought a lot of new plants in. So I have to keep that balance. I can't just keep bringing in new plants. And yeah, so I have to tell myself I'm going to propagate and grow what I currently have. And if I bring new plant in, then I gotta kind of let a plant go, but I just can't keep bringing in a bunch of new plants either because, like I said, I don't have the space for that. I have the regular all green right here, and then up top I have the just the regular outer variegated. I have the inner variegated, and then I have 2 more Polyneuras in here. I have the silver and the Ice Queen. So I have so many Polyneuria varieties. I have a few linearis here. I have my main pot here, and I've been taking some cuttings and putting them in water. I just took more cuttings the other day. I don't normally prop linearis in water or Hoya in water, but it's been working for the linearis. And then what I'm going to do is combine these so I can have one big mother plant. And then I also saved one of my propagation plants so that I can have like more linearis growing. I feel like I get asked about linearis a lot, and I've pretty much chopped I have another one growing in the shop room, but I pretty much chopped it all the way back. And I also want a big plant for my personal collection, and I can only chop it so many times before I feel like I'm not gonna have any plant left. So I'm trying to like make my pot really bushy so that when I go to propagate it, it won't be so sparse and bare. And And then I want to fill that other one out again too. That way when I go to prop it again, I can just continually make propagations instead of like having a period where my plant like has to regrow. So, whoops, my battery just died. But yeah, I'm trying to grow my mother plants out. I have a lot of my newer-ish Hoya in here. Well, the last round of new Hoya. I had gotten some new trellises from a shop in Canada, and I've been adding them to some Hoya. They're so cute, like this little pink one. I think they're 3D printed. And I have Monstera, it's so cute. And this little, this little bubble one, which is also very cute. I like these. So these guys are growing. Like I said, I continually prop my Hoyas a lot, so they don't ever get like huge. This is one of my favorite new Hoyas. I love this Lacunosa. It's the Lumina. I actually propagated one strand already to grow some propagations out, but this one here is growing. I got this as like unrooted cutting, and it's already grown so much. I love the outer variegation and the splash. Yeah, I chopped a lot of these guys recently. This is the Callincium that was imported, the one that took forever to reroot and grow. It finally put out a new leaf. So I'm excited to have that one. This was a new Hoya, this Rangson Albo, and it hasn't grown yet. I actually, I think it had some mites, I think flat mites possibly. It does have a growth point coming in finally. I've treated it a few times with horticultural oil, and then I don't see anything when I actually loop it. If you guys don't have a jewel loop, you guys need to get one. This came in a 3-pack, and it's so handy because it's 30 magnification, and all you do, it takes like 2 seconds. You just like, you can get right up and close to the node, and you can see if there's any flat mites or any kind of like situation going on. You can spot them pretty easily. So I don't know what happened with this one. I do see the growth point down in here, and I've scanned this plant so many times, and I have treated it a few times, so maybe it's just, it kind of like it was set back a little bit, but it did have a little bit of stem rot when I got it. So yeah, I don't know why that one's like a little iffy. I kind of have it in its own little spot down there. It's not touching any other Hoya, but like I said, I don't see anything when I loop it. But it makes me anxious that it's not really growing. It could just be a slow grower, but yeah, I'm kind of worried that that one hasn't really done much yet, because I've had this one for, I feel like I've had this one for a few months. A lot of my Hoya are very sticky and greasy because I did a horticultural oil treatment on all of them. I like spent some time like going through all my Hoya. Was it a few weeks ago? I just really needed to. I usually do lace wings and mites and stuff, but I like to thoroughly clean them every so often. I love this Hoya Nabawaniensis variegated. One of my faves. A few weeks ago, I took so many propagations. This is another trellis that I got. It has hearts on it. It's so cute. And my Swiffer's Nightmare I propagated for the first time. So I have all the props in the other room. They're doing well. I could probably start listing some of them soon. I love this Hoya as well. I propagated this one. I have a few props growing. This is the Bermanica variegated. Yeah, Bermanica variegated. It's so cute. Love this one. I have Gray Fairy in here. Some of my old ones I've had for a while. Oh, my Hoya Carrii. I love this Hoya too. I had, this is the main plant, and I broke a vine on it. I was so upset because I was like trying to get it twisted around this trellis, and it was the vine that had the huge leaves. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna prop these huge leaves, and they're starting to grow. Look at the size of these leaves. So Hoya Carrii, it looks like little Anthurium leaves like that. And the vine that snapped off had really huge leaves. Look at that. That is so cool. So I'm gonna like plant these back in with that one, I think. But I love these huge leaves. They're so cute. Such a cool Hoya. I love the bigger leaves than these small ones. But I'm like, I don't know why it spit out these huge leaves. Like this is another decent size here. But like compared to the smaller leaves, like that's insane, right? That's crazy. But yeah, I'll probably combine these. I also have an asparagus fern right here. It's growing a lot more recently. I had added a Sancy light here. I had moved this Hoya out of the cabinet because it got too long, and I had sat it here for probably a week before I added light, probably more than a week. And I was worried I may have rotted this one because it didn't really get any light. But it feels firm. Like I feel like it's probably rooted back if I did rot the roots. But some of the leaves are soft on this one. It was spitting a peduncle, but I guess it blasted. But now that I have more light, it should do better. But I was kind of sad about that one. But yeah, here's a peek in here. I'm not really sure like which ones to go over with you guys because I have so many Hoyas that are starting to grow. Mandara green edge in here. Yeah, I have just so many Hoya. My Mandara Snow Angel rotted. I don't know what happened. There's like no node left, even though these two leaves are hanging on. So I ended up repurchasing a second one that's a cutting that's going to grow, but I'm hanging on to this one just in case it decides to resprout. But like, I don't see where anything could come out of there again, but I'm just hanging on to it. Yeah, a lot of these I chopped back recently. This latifolia, I chopped back. A lot of these I took so many propagations from. This one's super greasy with that horticultural oil. I had propped this one as well. So pretty, that sunstressing. But yeah, I added a grow light here and then here. But I don't really know like if I should go over all these with you guys. I have Gray Fairy in here. I have my Matilde variegated. Petiolata variegated is growing back. I took some propagations from that one. Oh, I'm restarting my Wilburgrave Silver. Look at that pink sunstressing. I just wanted to start my plant back over. It just kind of got straggly. I had propped it back so many times. I have Serpent Silver Splash. I have this Winter Pandora that's growing, Lacinosa. My Caudata intervariegated I had propagated. And I have my Caudata Argene back there. I had propagated that one. And yeah, I propagated a lot of these too. My Dragon Egg I propagated, my Carnosa Freckles, very splashy. But do you see how dark it is in these corners, like this one and this one over here? It's so dark. Polynura, those are the other two Polynura. I have a very splashy Matilde. This Undulata I propagated. This Gunningadine Ghost I propagated. I have so many that I propped. And like I said, I have several Hoya that aren't in here that are in the other room. Hoya discipulae, blooming like crazy. I love this Hoya. I love all the pretty blooms. Like, look at that. So pretty. It doesn't really have any additional light, but it's growing fine. Just kind of getting some ambient light from the cabinets. And then this one, I have my Bellas in here. Caracia Silver. I have some of the ones I've had for a bit in here. And I have some restarts in here as well. And then there's the New Guinea Ghost. It's pushing out so much new growth from that light. And then, yeah, the other Polynuras that are here. The Paradisia. Oh, wait, I forgot I had another. This is the Brogat Polynura. Yeah, I have too many Polynuras. And then here's the quarantine bin. I think I showed you most of these guys. I had a couple freebies in here, and then I ended up purchasing this Stardust one here, silver, and then there's the Mandara Snow Angel cutting. But yeah, I'll get some of these guys moved back over to the cabinet here. I have to pot up the rest of these here, but these ones on the right side I had potted up not too long ago. And then I'll give you a peek at the Hoya in the shop room when I go in there. And yeah, I definitely feel like I have a lot of Hoya. I think I got carried away on Hoya there for a while, getting cuttings and then them growing. And sometimes I feel like I'm trying to have such a big variety to have and list and sell that sometimes I have to like remember that I have to care for all these plants and grow them. And It can be a lot with the amount of plants. I definitely feel like I have too many plants. I don't know. I don't know how many I have, but I definitely feel like I want to downsize some more or continue to let go of plants that I'm no longer interested in growing. But yeah, I have a lot of Hoya. I probably have 70 Hoya, which isn't a lot, but with everything else, it still is a lot. But yeah, let me bring you to my Anthurium area. I'm just going to briefly run through that real quick, and then I'll go in the shop room, and then I can show you some of the other areas. Oh, it's getting dark. It's probably going to rain, I think. It is getting very cloudy outside. This corner is so dark and just not enough light. I know it may not seem like it, but yeah, that's the issue that I'm having. So this is my Anthurium area. It's off from the kitchen. I have a few other random plants in the corner there, and then over in the window ledge. And I have a couple Monstera props on the table that I need to move into the shop room. You may see I have some cabinets over there, and I have like a new little dining set. I'm finally getting rid of this old, ugly table. I hate this table. I have a new carpet I'm putting there too, but I've decided I don't want to grow these Anthuriums out in the open anymore. The main reason being there's just not enough light. Initially I had some clip lights, and then I decided to get these standing lights, which is giving off a lot of light. But it's still not enough. The Anthurium are definitely leaning to it. And I don't want to add like so many lights just because this is our main living area here. So I decided that I'm going to squeeze as many as I can into a couple of cabinets here. I think it is raining now. Let me turn this light on. These are actually the Unicoli cabinets. They're like half the price as the Millsbow. I recently learned about these, and I had gone on to IKEA's website, and oh yeah, it's raining. Luna's like, she's coming in. They don't like the storms. Are you scared? Yeah. I actually went onto IKEA's website I was thinking about getting a couple Millsbows just because I have them and I like the cabinets. And I saw that the price of the cabinets are $350 now for Millsbows. I'm like, I thought they were $299. When I got my original Millsbow cabinet, it was $199. When I first bought that one, that was like 4 years ago, I think now. And then I thought they went up to $299 recently, but when did they go up to $349? Am I missing something? Like, why are they $350 a piece now? So I feel like that's a lot of money, not counting the shelving and lights and everything else that you have to get for cabinets. So I had heard about the Unicoli cabinets here, and I was looking them up online, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a chance and get them and see how they compare to the IKEA Millsbow. I did take a few clips when I put these together, so I can share that in like a separate video. I wasn't really planning on filming this whole process because I'm literally just adding the lights and the fans in and then swapping the cabinet or the shelves out with these. I'm going to try and pack as many as I can in here, and then I have the top of the cabinets as well. And I do have some duplicate Anthurium, and I am going to downsize some of these Anthurium as well, because I went through a phase there where I got a little obsessed with Anthurium, and then I decided I don't really like growing them. And maybe it's just them being out here, not getting enough light. They're not really growing their best. When I had Anthurium in my plant room, they were growing a lot better. I just think the environment in there is vastly different from out here, like an ambient. It's not as warm. It's so dark, not enough light. That's always been my issue with the space out here. Like, all of my Hoya are grown under grow lights because there's just no natural light over there. And I don't think Barinas are very good for Hoyas as well. Like, if you're looking to get them to bloom, I feel like none of my Hoya really bloom over there. When I had them in my plant room in front of my south window, they bloomed. I definitely got a lot of blooms. So I feel like the light, maybe it's just the duration. Maybe I need to run them longer. I run them for 12 hours, so maybe I need to bump it to like 14 more consistently. But I feel like the only Hoya that I really get to bloom over there is the Discipulae, but it blooms all the time. But I mean, they're growing. They do fine growing wise, but they're just not really blooming with the Barinas. But over here, I definitely just feel like the Anthurium aren't as happy. And I feel like having them in cabinets where they can get more light. I plan on putting like 6 or so grow lights in each of these cabinets. And if they outgrow the cabinet, then like if they're a bigger Anthurium, I can put them on top of the cabinets, or I can get like a couple shelves to put on the floor to hold a couple of the bigger ones if some of them get like too big. And I am going to downsize some. Like I said, I don't really love growing Anthuriums too much anymore. I'm happy with the ones that I have, and I am going to try and crossbreed with ones that I have over here, but I don't plan on bringing any more Anthurium into my collection. I got some of my wishlist ones this year. I imported them and they're kind of struggling. I wish I would have waited and not imported those over winter, but that's okay. I may eventually replace those if they don't end up growing for me, but as far as that goes, like, yeah, I'm not into Anthurium as I once was, but I do want to make them happy and keep majority of the ones that I have, and I feel like they're going to be happier in cabinets where I can control the environment a little bit better. And once they get big, like I said, I can kind of transition some of those to more ambient conditions. But yeah, I was waiting on the acrylics to arrive, and now that they're here, I can go ahead and kind of work on getting that assembled. So if you would like a little video around this whole thing, let me know, and I can kind of film bits and pieces and talk about the cabinets. But yeah, here's all my Anthuriums. Like I said, they are doing well. Like, they're not doing terrible, but some of them aren't really that happy. I do have my Cebu Blue big trailing plant over here. Oh, it is so dark, you can't really see, but I have my big Makoyana Geoperdia, and then my staghorn fern, which needs to be repotted. But yeah, the staghorn fern I need to repot and then move that basket up because it's like right on top of it now. So I'm thinking I'll have to do that at some point. And then I have a few orchids and air plants in the window there. You can kind of get a better view of the Anthuriums. So yeah, what I'm going to do with the cabinets is do them side by side. And then I have two of the lights from the ceiling I'm going to hang down for the top of the cabinets, and then these standing grow lights here I'm going to move into my plant room and swap this table out for that one there. So this whole setup's going to look completely different. I have so many Pally seedlings right now. I have actually more in that little cup right there. So this is self from the bigger, wider Pally, and then I have probably like 600 baby Pallies that I'm growing. The narrow one is on the opposite end there. I do have a lot of Anthurium that I love, like my Black Widow. I have two King of Spades. I have a Carla. I have a lot of Carla hybrids that I love. You know, I have my Delta Force up there and some other interesting hybrids and stuff. Like I said, I do love a lot of these, so I'm kind of looking forward to kind of going through my collection, seeing which ones I really want to keep, and then I'll downsize ones that I'm not really interested in anymore. My big hybrid down here, I ended up chopping it the other day. I couldn't take it anymore. I took a big top cut and I have it in water. And I actually thought I might transition some of these guys to pond for like just more watering ease for me, because I love growing in semi-hydro. I tried pollinating the King of Spades up there and the Black Widow. I don't know if it took. And then I have one more on that side that I tried pollinating, but I think I see the Anthurium yellowing. I don't know if it took. I crossed the Black Widow with a Carla hybrid, and same with the King of Spades. I do have a couple more Anthurium that are in here that are in the shop room, like the Rudsta cabinet in there. I have my import ones that are kind of hanging on. I have some smaller ones there, and then some of the bigger ones up top there. I have my Clary still in water. I need to get that potted into a semi-hydro. I chopped a couple of these that I'm water propping. I'm going to transition to semi-hydro. So yeah, I don't think all these will be able to fit in those cabinets, but I'm going to do my best and kind of configure a little setup that I think is going to work. So yeah, that is kind of the update with the Anthurium. I know I didn't really go through each one, but I'll give you a closer look at them, I guess, when when I go to like rearrange this. I'm going to work on it. I might actually work on getting the lights and stuff in the cabinets today, and then maybe tomorrow I can kind of work around some of this. I like to get this done sooner than later because I need to get started back on the shop stuff. And then once I get busy with that, I feel like I don't want to really tackle a big project. I want to go ahead and get this done. I just decided to randomly do the cabinets. Sometimes I don't know why I do that to myself. Like, I do these big projects and then I'm like, no wonder I get tired and overwhelmed. I'm like, I have too much going on at once. But I think it's for the best. I do like these shelves, but it's just not really working for the setup because, again, the lighting issue, I just feel like the lighting is a big issue out here, and I don't want like a ton of blasting. And I hate these lights on the floor. Like, they always get in the way. I just bump into them all the time. I can't get to the blinds to open the blinds up, and it's just not enough light for these guys. So yeah, that is the update with the Anthurium. Here in the bathroom, we have a few plants. I moved one of the Maranta to the bedroom, and then I have a plant that I need to repot and upsize that's not in here, but I may end up moving that one to the bedroom as well. I still have my big lemon lime, which I need to repot yet. And then I still have this Tenanthe in here. This is the Burl Marksy. I need to repot and upsize that one as well. And then I just have some golden pothos cuttings. I did have a bigger plant of that, but it got kind of long and was falling into the bathtub. So I just trimmed it back, and I think I'll let it grow up there and kind of vine on the wall and on this area, because when it gets attached to the actual wall, it leaves marks because it wants to try and climb in here. So yeah, just those 3 plants for now. This is the one that I need to repot. It's drying out, I swear, like every 2 days. I have to like constantly give it water. This is the, I think this is the Zabrina Calathea. I have a lot of yellowing from underwatering that I need to clip away. But yeah, that is getting upsized ASAP. I just have it on the counter because I need to do that soon. It's just to remind myself to go ahead and get it repotted. But I feel like this will be a good one to put into the bedroom instead of in here in the bathroom. But yeah, that needs repotted. The bedroom, it looks a lot different. I did some rearranging in here. I had a shelf that was in this spot that had some plants like trailing phyllos and pothos that were kind of neglected, honestly. I feel like I don't really pay attention that much to the plants in here. And I wanted to get rid of that shelf. It was just kind of like clutter, and I wanted to reorganize the space. My Marantas, a lot of them are small right now because I had them in that, I think I talked about it a few months ago. There was like a white planter basket that I had down here on the floor, and I had used a soil that I don't normally use anymore, and I had so many fungus gnats from that. So I ended up water propagating a lot of them, and I potted a couple of them back up. I did end up losing the silver band because the cuttings that I took didn't make it. So I may end up repurchasing that one at some point. But yeah, I have my variegated Maranta, and then I have the light veins. This one here. I love the light veins. I love that pattern on the leaves. And then the variegated one is down there. And then the red Maranta is just cuttings now. I no longer have my big Tenanthe, I just have a big clipping of it. I had to restart that plant. And then next to it down there is the Orbifolia that I had in here. Again, it was neglected and underwatered, and I just saved a clipping. I don't even know if that's going to make it. If it does, then I'll get it restarted back. If not, I don't know if I'll repurchase it again. But yeah, those plants took a big hit, and then the red Maranta, I'm starting over with some clippings. This is the regular Cruciovana. This is the one I had in the bathroom, and I moved it in here because it flowers constantly, and it kept dropping the blooms all over the bathtub in there, and it drove me crazy. So at least when it falls here, it falls onto the floor and I can't notice it as much. But this one, all this growth came from just spring. This was literally just a pile of dirt over winter. A lot of my Maranta Calathea go dormant over winter. I'm sure it'll slow down probably in a couple months, and then I'll just water it over winter. But yeah, that's just all from spring growth. And what else do I have? I have my blue oil fern that I got from that Hawaii trip, and it hasn't done anything, you guys. It lost some leaves, but I don't think it's actually grown any new leaves. It's just like there. So I'm like, why is it not growing? Like, what the heck? I don't know what to do with that guy. It was in the bathroom. I moved it in here. So we'll see. I'm just like watering it, but it hasn't really done anything. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with that guy. I took some clippings of my Philodendron Brazil and my Heartleaf Philodendron. I'm going to restart these back together in like a basket and let them trail. Yeah, I just had so many plants on that shelf that were kind of crowded and it just kind of neglected, not getting enough light and everything. So I do have some strip lights on this shelf here, and then normally I have these windows open during the day, and then I have a grow light in this one. But again, my bedroom here is all north facing, so it's like hardly any light. I have a Thanksgiving cactus here. I got this from my neighbor as a cutting, and it's grown quite a bit. I actually just repotted it, so I'm hoping it doesn't get angry. But yeah, that guy has really pink, beautiful blooms. It tends to bloom, I think, around February, January for me for some reason. It doesn't really bloom around Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, and I have this mistletoe cactus here hanging. I found this one at a big box store one time. But I like how long it's getting now. I had that one on the shelf that was in here before, but I figured that one would look really good trailing right here. I had considered moving this one into the bathroom and like hanging it from the wall, but I decided to go ahead and hang it here, and I do like that spot for it. So yeah, it's a lot more minimal in here. The Zabrina I'll probably move in here, and then I do have like more space on here once those grow out. If the Tenanthian Orbifolia make it, what I'll do is just kind of shimmy probably one of those over a bit and add one like right under here. But I do like this space a lot better. This is our bedroom, so I just felt like I was just neglecting all these plants in here. I just needed to repot so many of them, and I still have, like I said, I still have some of these guys to repot. Like this one definitely needs a repot too. It dries out constantly. So I'll take care of the rest of them at some point, but at least I got it cleaned up for now, and it made me feel a little bit better because I had so many plants in here that were just like stressing me out. And like I said, I'll probably repurchase a silver band at some point too, and I may move it just like right down here. This will probably be my my Maranta shelf. But yeah, I just can't add too many plants in here. I can't really use the window light because it's just so minimal, and anything that I add in here needs a grow light, and because it's our bedroom, I don't want like a ton of grow lights and stuff in here. So it's just this little kind of corner for now. So some of these are in new spots. I'll have to see how they do long term. And then once a couple of these plants root up, that one and those, I'll get them potted back up. Okay, so I think what I'll do next is go ahead and go into the shop room and give you an update, a quick update in there. And then I do have several plants outside. I think I kind of want to update you on some of the plants out there. What I might do is, since it's hot right now, it's like in the middle of the day, I might go out there this evening and add that footage on to the end of the video. So I'll go in here next, and then later on this evening, if you want to see the the outside plants, that'll be at the end of this video. I really can't talk anymore, you guys. Like, I am twisting all of my words up. Ugh, I didn't realize how much this video is talking. How much talking is involved in this. I feel like I've been talking for hours. I think I have. I think I started a few hours ago. And then my camera overheats like every 15 minutes. I have to let it cool down. So yeah, let's go ahead and head in there. I haven't really been in this room a whole lot because I've taken a break from restocking the last couple of weeks. I'm like, I haven't had my like normal routine in here. But I have another jasminca at the window there. I'm just kind of letting that trail off to the side. And then here's the Rudsta cabinet. I have some of my plants in there. And then I have some more alocasia at the top up there. I have some like pothos, gentiana up top on the opposite side. And then my other linearis is like right here. I pretty much propped that one all the way back, so I need to like fill that out again. And then I have some of my other plants up top there as well that I need to, like I said, get put back in their spots. These are some plants I'll probably list soon. I just kind of plucked some plants out. But I have my velvet halo micans right here. It's like one of the props that I kept. I have another jasminca. This one kind of did this weird mutation where it was like a green on green splash. I decided to just hang on to a propagation, but let me see if I can show you. That's kind of what it looks like. It's not really much of anything. But yeah, the leaves just kind of turned like that. The original prop that I had was like the original plant that did this mutation, but this one is just kind of like burning into like a really like weird green splash. But I decided to hang on to it for now, but I probably won't keep this one. I have another gray fairy. It's like a second mother plant. I have some of my original Hoya up here, like my mint lacinosa and Croniana super silver. I also have another syngonium up here, which I like this one. It's so pretty. I need to put this one in my plant room. This one is, shucks. white butterfly variegated. I forgot. It's like, it's kind of like that minty tone, like the heterophylla or the silver sword, but it's a little bit different. And I love like the minty tones on this. It's such a pretty syngonium. This one is like the main plant that I need to water. Yeah, this is dry. I need to water in here actually. Probably tomorrow morning, because I normally water usually over the weekend in here. I usually water Saturday, so today is Saturday, so I might wait and film or water Sunday tomorrow, because I don't really feel like filming in here today or watering in here today. But yeah, this one's really pretty. Here's some of my jungle mint props. Some of them are starting to sprout, but they're just taking forever. They're all like wet stick nodes in here. This one sprouted its first leaf, jungle mint. It got kind of caught though, so it's a little damaged. One of the jungle mint leaves. It's so cute. This one is actually sprouting, this one here. That node actually was really good on that one. You see the variegation on the node? That new leaf has some color, not like a ton. But I don't know when these will be ready. I have a lot that are starting to sprout, like their nodes are starting to activate like that. But my original big plant, you know, reverted. So I have a lot of wet sticks growing. I cut all the original leaves off. You know what I did? I actually kept the, you know, the big top cut. I ended up letting that go, and the original big leaf that had the secondary split, I took a couple photos of it, and then what I decided to do is I have the leaf pressing in between some cardboard, and I'm gonna try and frame it as like a photo. I could like hang it in here somewhere even if it ends up drying okay. I haven't checked it. It's probably been a week since I did that. I have it in between some like wax paper and cardboard to try and like preserve it in a way. I wonder if I should go check on that today. It's in the garage actually. It's probably not the best place for it. Yeah, so hopefully it can turn out okay. I can even hang it like here or even behind the door somewhere and just get a frame for it. Most of this is albo. I have one more jungle mint in here, and then the rest of this is Monstera albo wet stick. A lot of the leaves, original leaves, I ended up cutting off because I just don't have room for a lot of those big leaves in here. I'd much rather just wet stick node prop these. Oh, this is one of my favorite bins right now. It's so pretty. Look at this propagation bin. Do you see all of that? Let's see. Look how pretty that is. All those colors. I have a lot of red Anderson, pink princess. I have some silver sword babies that are growing. I have some gloriosum babies that are growing. They're like all wet stick node propagations. Like, look how cute. A lot of these need to grow a bit more. I don't like to list them when they're so little. Look at these little baby silver sword. These are all from my mother plant, just like all wet stick node. These red Andersons are really pretty. That is gorgeous. Look at that red Anderson. That one's a decent little size. So pretty. Oh, this pink princess is really pink. It might be going all pink. I don't know about that one. It might be going albo. I have some Micans Aria growing in here too. So yeah, this is a fun little bin. I have so much potting up to do in here. It's insane. So much. I have 2 full bins of pallies. I'm working on transferring them. This is just one. Look at all these pallies. That is insane. They're all stuck together. I gotta separate all these. There's probably 300 seeds in here, probably more. This is just one tray of Pallidiflorum. And then I had started separating these. This is the other tray of Pally. I have like half this tray to do yet. I sold quite a few. I sold them in sets, and then Obviously, that inflow was probably like 700 seeds, you guys. And then I've started transferring them to, this is a seedling tray, to their soil mix like this. You can see them, the Pallidiflorums. They're so tiny. They look like little little sprouts. So it's going to take them a bit to grow. They're settling in nicely though. I'm glad I could actually transfer a lot of these to like their individual seed pods. And then from here, I will pot them into a bigger pot. And then once they actually start growing and start looking more like Pallidiflorum, I'll start selling them individually. But I will probably hold off on selling until they actually grow more. I just have so many though, like, like all these pally seeds are insane. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these. Remind me to never, and I have the whole cup out there that I haven't even germinated, like I haven't even set those up to grow yet. This was from one freaking inflow. That's just, it's insane. I'm really behind on alocasia again. I have 3 corm trays in here that are like, a lot of them are busting open. I propagated, how many Hoya bins did I propagate? I think I did 6 bins of Hoya. 6 entire bins of Hoya that I propagated. A lot of these are some that I haven't propped before, like the Swiffer's Nightmare, like this one. I can start listing a lot of these soon. Like this one's actually growing, you see? It has its new growth already. I have Caudata argine. I have a lot of Polyneura. This is the Lacinosa Lumina is growing. So I'll start listing some of these soon. I definitely got carried away propagating for sure. I think what my plan is, because this shop room takes so much of my attention away from even my own personal collection, I think what I'm going to do is just have less props going and try to, I'm making a shop video next week, but I'll talk more about it then. But I just need to better manage all of this, and I guess I'll talk about it when it comes time in that video. But yeah, I just need to do things a little bit differently. Here's the Bermanica. I have several of these growing. Oh, I did pot some big carry eye leaves in here. Okay, some of these are a bit big. The Hoya Quarantine, because I broke like one really big strand. It had some huge leaves that I was showing you out there. Yeah, I have a lot of good Hoya. I have, this whole thing is Hoya. I have more Hoya stacked over here. I have a lot of begonia propagations, so many monstera, some philodendron, so many alocasia, like I said. Let me show you one of my favorite alocasia bins because it's overflowing. Yeah, I need to water in here, shucks. These alocasia are dry. Look at this bin of alocasia. It's so pretty. They're so big already. A lot of these are Regal Shields Albo, and I have some Pseudosandriana. Look at that bin. They're so big. This is the problem I have with alocasia. They get so big so fast. Yeah, a lot of the plants are this size. Regal Shields Albo. Look at that pretty Regal Shields Albo leaf. A lot of my plants are like this size already. They're huge plants. But she is so pretty, this bin. I just watered in here Wednesday, so it's only been Thursday, Friday. It's only been 2 days, 2.5 days, going on 3 days, and everything is dry in here. It's craziness how quickly things dry. I can't keep up anymore in here. I kept a couple, I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with this. I kept this Frydek back because it was doing half moon leaves. It's so pretty. Look, it just spit out an all white leaf, but this one has like 2 half moons. This Frydek, it's so cute. I love half moons. I just kept it back because it's pretty to look at. I don't need any more Frydek plants, but I might keep that one. And I liked this Regal Shields Albo. It was doing some weird pattern. It was doing like a leaf like that, which is kind of like a green minty leaf. And then this one was kind of cool. It's kind of browning a bit on the white, that one. And then this one was like a green minty leaf. It's like, I don't know, I kind of like the pattern. And this one looks like it's going to be minty. Variegation is so cool sometimes. These are the mint pink caprias that I told you about that were corm grown from a TC mother. They're just like complete duds. I think I'm just gonna throw these away because they're just like, they're not growing. They're not, literally not doing anything. I have sat on these for so long. There's like no color. They're just time and energy into plants that are just duds. So many freaking corm trays. All these need to come out. So many like alocasia corms that are sprouting. I need to go through all these bins and get these potted up. Let me quickly show you the Rudsta cabinet. Up top, I have a 2 Anthurium. I have a Oraquanum Elsmeralda, and then a hybrid. That is, oh God, that leaf is huge. I didn't realize it was getting so big back there. No! Is it caught back there? Oh geez, oh geez, oh geez, oh geez. Oh my gosh, look how big it is. Holy crap, I did not see how big this leaf was. Oh, and it didn't get burnt, thank God. See, this is completely dry. I need to water. Look how beautiful. Look at that, that is gorgeous. This is a, why am I forgetting the name of this? It has like an offshoot. It has like 2 offshoots. I need to separate. Do you see? I need to separate that. This is a Brielle and Michelle. That's what this one is. That is Gorgina right there. So I need to water and separate this. Like, look at those roots. That's insane. And the Elsmeralda I need to water. I'm actually just going to leave this out for a minute because I'm going to work on this. The Anthurium stuff probably here soon. And then I have a couple like OG alocasia in here. I have a black velvet, Maharani, regular dragon scale. And then I have a couple more Hoya, and I have like a Monstera Peru variegated. I know you can't really see that in here. I have another gray fairy that was doing some minty, like all white leaves, and it kind of is reverting to back to mint. I don't know, it was doing some kind of weird mutation, but it kind of stopped. And then I have my multiflora variegated. Look at that bloom. Oh, the bloom is falling. There's another Hoya that I need to get back into my Hoya area. There's a few blooms left. I had propagated my original plant, and then I'll get this potted back up once I get some more roots. This one has some splash on that leaf. That's pretty. I might have to water in here this evening. I didn't realize things were getting so dry again. See, I like Anthuriums when they grow very well and they're pretty. Like, that is beautiful. They just don't grow very well out there. See, this one got burnt by the grow light. It got too tall. I'm like really glad that this new leaf didn't get burnt by the light. So yeah, I will probably water in here this evening. But yeah, that's pretty much it for in here. Like I said, I have so many plants and props going at all times. It's crazy. I can't keep up sometimes because my props get overrooted, and sometimes I get delayed. I delay potting them up, and then things like overgrow like crazy, or I underwater by a day and things get a little sad, some of the bins, and then I have to like rehab some, and it's just like a process. I just have too many props going at once right now. So I'm going to focus on what I have currently growing, stop propagating for a little bit, kind of get this room under control, and then I will figure it out from there. Summer is just a hard month for me. I feel like these warm months, everything grows like crazy. Things are just like, it's hard to maintain over the summer months for me. I get very stressed and overwhelmed very easily. That's why I like fall, because things tend to slow back down a little bit. It's not so crazy. Oh yeah, I wanted to get this Adansonii variegated on a pole, and I haven't done that yet. It's one of the props I was going to put on a moss pole. Haven't done it yet. It's hanging in here. These begonias that I propagated, overgrowing like crazy, like this begonia Lemoon. I like prop these in moss. I'm gonna probably transfer them to soil, but like, look, they're freaking huge already because I had to take a break, and like, yeah, I'm gonna have to prop some of these again, but that's okay. We'll we'll get it under control. But yeah, I definitely need to water in here, like ASAP. I don't know why my feet are wet. Did something must have dripped water. I'm like, why is my sock wet? Oh yeah, and I have some Sindapsus up there too. I had moved those out of my plant room. I have like my Jade Satin, my Exotica. I have a variegated one that I think I overwatered and is rotting, and I'll deal with that a different day. But yeah, besides that, I have the plants outside and on the patio. I actually did plant some alocasia on that side of the house last summer, and they're growing back. And we have a lot of elephant ears around the house. My banana is my tissue culture banana that I planted out there like 3 years ago now. This is the third summer that it's growing back. It's starting to grow big, and this year there's so many offshoots. It's crazy. There's like 4 or 5 individual plants that have grown up. I'll have to show you that one out there. My monstera that I planted out at the tree, I thought that died back from the winter last year, but it just started growing out of nowhere. I'm like, there must have been some kind of node underneath the ground that started growing again. I have some ficus out there and a couple other plants that I'll show you, but yeah, for the most part, that's it as far as what's growing in here. I definitely have a lot of plants still, a lot of shop plants to take care of. That takes like majority of my time for sure. But yeah, I definitely need to figure things out because there's just a lot of plants over here. Dun, 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 dun. It's in the evening time now, so it's not as hot. I was going to quickly show you the plants out here. Hi, Chai. Hey. Hi, bud. Yeah. It's nice and warm out here, huh? I have Regal Shields. This is the OG original Regal Shields. I left it outside all winter. This is the first winter I left it outside, but on a really cold night, I brought it into the garage and it did okay, I would say. It's not really getting a ton of light, so it's growing pretty slow. I do have a couple new leaves. They're a bit smaller in the middle, and that base is so thick. It lost a lot of leaves and everything from last year till now, but yeah, it's just chilling on the patio out here. And then I moved Tortum out this spring as well. I moved it out, I think in March or at the end of March, and we had one cold snap where I didn't bring it into the garage, but I just quickly covered it, and it got a little angry. It lost its like bottom set of leaves, and then it kind of bounced back and it's pushed out a ton of new growth. I'm gonna leave this out here all winter for next year too, and then, or for this coming year. And yeah, any like super cold nights, I'll just bring it into the garage. It's really not that bad because I only have these, and then I have a few over here that I did the same thing with. I have the purple Exalis, this one here. This one didn't go dormant. It's been growing all winter, spring, and yeah, it did fine over winter in the garage. And then I have the 2 ficus plants, the Taneki and the Shivriana. They're growing okay. The plants here on the patio don't really get enough light, so I can't really put a ton of plants out here. They are growing very slowly. There's some new growth, but yeah, there's not like a ton of light because this is all north facing out here, and the light is just not great inside the patio. And this is the caladium basket that I got on one of my shopping trips out here. It's so pretty. These will go dormant kind of late summer, but this one, I don't know the name of this one, but it's so pretty. Look at that light pink. I love that. Beautiful. I didn't repot it or anything, so it dries pretty quickly. So I just have to remember to water it, especially this week because it's going to be hot this week coming up. Yeah, I have another caladium basket out there, and then the canna lily that has regrown. It usually regrows every springtime. I leave it out here over winter, and then it just goes dormant, I guess, and then it regrows in the spring. It's done that, I think, the 3rd year in a row. And then I have like an old Hoya that I was going to downsize. It's the only one that survived over winter. It's a Shepherdii. I just have it out there because it had mealies. I guess it got some over the winter season out here, and I didn't want to bring it back inside. So it's an outside plant now, so it'll stay out here. Yeah, the other two Hoya did not like being out here in the cold at all, but again, like I said, it did fine bringing it into the garage over winter on a really cold night. And cold night is like, I would say if it's reaching below like 35 degrees Fahrenheit, if it's expected to frost, then I will bring the plants into the garage. But if it's in like upper 30s, below 40, I'll try and like cover them. But yeah, if we were expecting a freeze, then I would bring them into the garage. We have a lot of palm trees and stuff planted in the yard. And then we have like a lot of plants and stuff out front. And I have all my cacti and stuff out front still. Hello. Hello. I don't know if you can see that monstera out at the tree out there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that has regrown back. It's very tiny though, so I don't know if it'll do much. But I'm gonna come out here and I'll show you the banana tree and some of the alocasia that I planted on the side of the house that has grown back. Look at these elephant ears, aren't they huge? We have some on this side of the house and some on the other side of the house. The leaves are so pretty. I just love looking at them. But they're doing well in the heat. They're just regular green elephant ears. But yeah, they're really pretty. I like coming out here and looking at them. Here's the banana. So this is the third year it has grown back. Some of the newer growth, the bigger vines, aren't as variegated. It's kind of green, I would say, mostly. And what's interesting is it's producing so many shoots, which is kind of new. It hasn't really done that before. It has one offshoot there that is very variegated. Do you see that? Look how pretty that is. That's so variegated. I almost want to like take that little plant off and grow it like on the patio or something because it's so pretty. I might try and do that. I don't know if I could separate it. I'm worried that's going to, well, obviously this dies back every winter, like the whole plant dies, but it regrows. And then there's another offshoot on this side that is coming in with really good variegation. Do you see that? That one has really good color too. That one's a bit bigger. So there's two big vines and then two offshoots. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I got this from tissue culture 3 years ago and planted it out here and not really sure what it was going to do. And it's pretty cool that it grows back every year. It will grow probably to like here. And then by the end of summer, it starts to yellow a bit and it kind of dies back and goes dormant. But I might consider separating one of those little offshoots. I would love to grow one of those inside the patio so that it doesn't die back, especially the pretty variegated ones. I might consider doing that one day. I have some agave planted out front too. I forget the exact types. And then that's that little monstera. I cannot believe it has grown back. That's crazy. It's so cute. It's so little. And then this guy grows back every winter, or it dies every winter, and then it grows back every spring. This is the Theo something. I always forget the name of this one. This yucca here bloomed last spring, I think it was. Yeah, it bloomed, which was pretty cool. This is alocasia. I think it's metalhead, maybe. I got this one from the big box store. It was like a huge planter basket. And was it 2 summers ago, 2 springs ago? I don't quite remember now, but all this has grown back as well. That's the second time this one has grown back. But it's really pretty. It's got pretty green, all green leaves. Oh shoot, there's a spider on that one. But I really like that one. Happy to see it growing back. And I planted some random alocasia out here just to see what would happen. I have a, this was a pink poly. It was the ghost version. And look at that leaf growing back. Isn't that cool? It had reverted and I decided I didn't want to keep it. So instead of just tossing it, I planted it out here and it's growing back. It's not very big, but at least it's doing something. And more elephant ears over here. And I planted a couple more alocasia here. This is Yucatan Princess. It had reverted. I would say it's pretty much reverted. There's like a tiny bit of irrigation. I was surprised to see this come back in this spring, so that's kind of cool. Hasn't done very much. And then I planted Alocasia Jacqueline Tanderusa out here as well. And that's a new leaf that popped in this spring, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, some Alocasia just growing away out here. Look at those dates in that palm tree. It's so big. And we have some more agave out here. They get frost damage like that one. You can see the blue one every winter, but then it grows back. We have some big sago palms. We planted these when they were really tiny. Those are super toxic. Look at my plant room window. You can see the monstera and the alocasia. Can you see them? It's kind of dark though. Yeah, you can't really see them from the outside. And the front porch is all cacti succulents. I repotted these, I think last spring was the last time I took care of these. Fixing this flag, it got all weird. There's a lizard tail, do you see it down there? We have lizards that hang out on our front porch all the time. We have my big Sansevieria. There's two different kinds. I had like potted them into these big containers, but it's growing a lot this spring. I feel like it's like tripled in size. And then I have my big whale fins there. I have a chameleon ZZ. Is that chameleon? Is that the right word? The right name for it? I don't remember. And then I forget what this guy is called too. I put him back out here this spring, although he's not really doing that well. And then a monkey tail cactus actually bloomed for the first time, you guys. It's growing in all these little babies. Like, look at that. Isn't that cool? You can see the dried bloom right here. It's actually getting ready to do another bloom. But it was so pretty. It was like bright red. But I'll put a picture. And yeah, it was kind of cool to see that. It hadn't bloomed yet. This guy does really well. I leave all these out here over winter. I did move these guys in, and I did move the monkey tail cactus in actually one night. I think it got pretty cold, like in the 20s, and I was worried it wasn't going to do well out here. So I brought the snake plants in because this guy gets frost damage if I leave him out. But yeah, but these guys I left out here all winter. I covered them like on a really cold night, and for the most part they did fine. Some of the succulents got some like frost damage, you can see like here, but they've kind of grown back in. I have these variegated guys. This one bloomed recently too. And my domino cactus, which I love, bloomed just the other day. So I'll pop a picture of that one on here because I love the domino cactus blooms. This guy does a lot of spikes too, but they always fall off. They never like have come out, but look at all those bloom spikes. That guy is growing like a whole new cactus on top of it. Which is kind of cool. This guy I don't remember when I got him, a while ago. I redo my succulent planter often because it like etoliates and stretches out to the light. So maybe next spring I'll like cut all these again and like plant them in the bottom. I just unrooted and they keep growing, and when they get stretched out like that is when I'll kind of fix them. And then I have another cactus planter down there. Some of them are kind of floppy. I think a couple of them didn't like the cold over winter. But for the most part, they did okay, I would say. But I need to clean up this front porch. It's a little dirty. Clean them up a little bit. I just throw a slow release fertilizer on top for these guys like every, I don't know, 4 months or so. I usually do it a couple times a year, and I just water them with regular water. Usually a couple times a month over summer, I would say, when it's hot like this, and then I kind of back off some in the spring and fall. But yeah, I really love the monkey tail cactus. It's grown a lot, and I'm excited to see all these little babies come in. I think out of all of them out here, that one's my favorite. He's really cute. I was just talking to do my outro and I forgot to hit record. I'm rusty with the camera because it's been a while since I filmed. But yeah, I think that wraps up the plant update. I know I kind of quickly, I did the shop. Yeah, I kind of quickly did a lot of the areas. I didn't go like into full detail on every plant, but I think I just overdid it talking today with this tooth. It's hurting a lot, moving my mouth and jaw, but I'm still gonna call them on Monday and just make sure, because I'm still having a lot of pain. I can't chew on this side yet, and it's been, I think, 5 days post root canal. So I hope nothing's wrong, because I just want like a normal mouth back. So yeah, I'm going to, I think, end it, but I've been working on the cabinets a little bit, getting the grow lights in and the cords. That usually takes a while, and then I'm gonna shower here and get clean so I can go into the nursery. I'm gonna water that a bit later this evening, because yeah, the plants in there are thirsty. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the plant update. I'll make a separate video on the anthuriums and kind of give you an overview of that space a little bit more closely, and the cabinets and my thoughts on that. I may at some point do like an updated Hoya video so you can get a closer look at all the Hoya that I have, because I have made a lot of changes with those. And eventually the allocations will be, eventually I'll do like an updated collection, because I've gotten so many, it's crazy. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the plant update. Thank you so much for spending your time here and watching. Yeah, I think I'm going to eat something soft and shower, water the nursery, and probably call it for the night. Yeah, thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one.